Hey, John, do you ever think about what makes a good student in school? Like, why some students seem to excel naturally while others struggle?
Definitely. I think about it a lot, actually. There's this mix of things, like discipline, curiosity, and maybe even the environment they're in. What's your take on it?
I agree with those. But I feel like it also depends on how much support they get outside of school. Some students have parents or mentors who really push them or help them stay on track. That makes a big difference.
True, but doesn't it also come down to personal drive? I've seen students who don't have much support at home still work incredibly hard and succeed. It's inspiring, really.
That's true. Personal motivation plays a big role, but I think it's easier for some students to stay motivated when they have people cheering them on. What about teachers? Don't you think they can make or break a student's success?
Oh, absolutely. A good teacher can completely change how a student feels about a subject. I remember when I hated math until Mr. Patel started teaching us in middle school. He made it fun and relatable.
Mr. Patel was the best. He really knew how to connect with everyone. But do you think a good student is someone who just gets good grades? Or is it more about their attitude toward learning?
That's a good question. I think it's more about the attitude. Grades are just one measure, but being curious, asking questions, and actually enjoying learning, those things matter a lot more in the long run.
Totally. I've noticed that the students who ask questions in class usually understand the material better. It's like they're not afraid to admit when they're confused. Which takes courage, I think.
For sure. And being willing to learn from mistakes is another big one. It's easy to get discouraged when things don't go your way, but good students see failure as a chance to improve.
That's such a good point. I think schools should do more to emphasize that. Sometimes it feels like the system is more about testing and memorization than actual learning.
Yeah, and that can discourage students who learn differently. Not everyone excels in a traditional classroom setting, you know? Some students are hands-on learners or need more creative approaches.
Exactly. It makes me think about how much untapped potential there is. Imagine how many students could thrive if schools adapted to different learning styles.
It's kind of frustrating, isn't it? But on the bright side, I think things are slowly changing. There's more talk about personalized learning and mental health support these days.
That's true. And it's nice to see teachers getting more recognition for the work they do. It's such a tough job, but they really are the backbone of education.
No doubt. And speaking of good students, do you think participation in extracurriculars like sports or clubs plays a role?
Definitely. Extracurriculars teach teamwork, discipline, and time management. Plus, they help students build confidence in areas outside of academics. What do you think?
I agree. And it's also a great way to discover new interests. I joined the debate team kind of by accident, but it ended up being one of the best experiences I've had.
That's so cool. I think those experiences make school memorable. They're part of what shapes a well-rounded student.
Absolutely. And at the end of the day, I think being a good student isn't about perfection. It's about growth, effort, and making the most of opportunities.
Couldn't have said it better myself, John. Let's hope more schools focus on that message.
Here's to hoping.